This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Ondo InsurTech has secured a new contract with Selective Insurance to roll out LeakBot to homeowners in Virginia, Pennsylvania, Indiana, and Ohio. And this follows a successful launch in New Jersey earlier this year. Well, joining us today is CEO Craig Foster. Hello, Craig. Thank you for joining us. So, good news this morning.
Hey, Mark. Yeah, some more interesting news this morning. So, this directly follows on from the last time we spoke. So, I can't even remember when it was. Maybe it was only like 2 weeks ago. We announced some news with Nationwide, which, I said at the time represented a really important moment in our journey to building, what I think's got the potential to be, a $1 billion company one day. And that was the fact that one of the largest insurers in the United States, Nationwide, had expanded from their launch state of Ohio into a total of 16 states in the US. And at the time when we spoke about it, I said that I really hoped that would be a platform that would encourage other insurance companies to kind of follow into those geographies. And then quite quickly after that, we announced a new partnership with Indiana Farm Bureau, a new insurer that we hadn't worked with previously, that immediately announced they were launching into the state of Indiana, which was one of Nationwide's expansion states. And they were going straight to a rollout without a pilot. So the news today really follows on from that. It's one of our existing customers, Selective. They initially launched in New Jersey. And like you say, they've signed a new contract with us to basically follow Nationwide into those 4 states that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So, again, it's another real great proof point that that strategy's working and much more of similar things to come.
Okay, good. And it's the same business model. It's the same idea with the sort of circa $5 per month per user. And of course, the working capital there supporting that initial rollout.
Yeah, exactly. So really consistent strategy, the same pricing strategy, the same consumer offer where our LeakBot device is offered for free to the homeowner and our plumbing services are offered for free as well. And the insurance partner paying us for that on a recurring basis to deliver the claim saving. And this is really why we've got this traction in the United States, because there's nothing else that solves that $20 billion problem at a price point that works and delivers a return on investment like our patented solution does. But you raise an important point on the working capital model. And this has really been an important breakthrough, is we've established, although it's a recurring revenue business, that our payment terms is our partners pay the first years of fees on our order volume upfront, which fully funds the working capital. And this is really crucial because a recurring revenue business is normally capital intensive to grow, which would be bad news for shareholders as we'd have to continually keep diluting our position to grow the business. But with that pricing model, our very cash-rich insurance partners are effectively funding the working capital for us to grow. So we're not restricted. We can grow as fast as as we like without any working capital restrictions.
Good. That's really good to hear. I noticed in the RNS it was mentioned as well that LeakBot continues to prove effective at preventing the water leak damages. So this is just something you're continually seeing feedback from where the model is currently installed.
Yeah, absolutely. We're now with 20 insurance partners around the world.
Excellent.
And we're really in really a crazy period of growth right now. It really feels like not just in the United States, but the amount of activity. We've got our results coming up in next week, and it'll be good to tell investors a bit more about the level of activity we've currently got going on, because it's also in the UK and in Scandinavia as well, where insurance partners keep seeing the results and then expanding the footprint, and all of our existing partners keep expanding the activity. We're still just at the tip of the iceberg of what this business can achieve. But that's really the crucial thing, is we solve a very expensive, like I say, in the United States, a $20 billion annual problem. for insurance carriers, which is the damage to properties caused by those water damage claims.
Yeah, okay. And you commented saying that you're seeing ever increasing confidence really from the US insurers. So, and you're saying sort of it feels at the start of this sort of growth phase. So, I mean, the team fairly confident then, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk some more about that in our results presentation next week. But I mean, that's really been the journey that we're on. We started, obviously, we're a UK-founded company. We started in Europe. And when we first went to the US and we pitched our proposition, it was clear we had the right pitch and the right value proposition for the US market. But the question from US insurers was, will this work in the US? Can you achieve the same levels of customer satisfaction? Can you achieve the same claim savings? So we launched with 4 different insurance partners, 4 and then 5 insurance partners across 4 different states to prove that out. And that's really been the journey. The key result that we've delivered this year, more important than anything else, has been the results we've delivered for those insurance partners on the ground in the United States and proven that we can do it. Now the job is to build on that momentum. We've got an anchor launch partner with Nationwide to expand across the US. We're now showing that we can get the other partners to follow them. And really the goal now is, can we establish LeakBot as the industry standard solution in the United States? And if we can do that, then all bets are off as to how big this company could be.
Excellent. The industry standard. Okay, well, I'll hold you to that, and I'm sure shareholders will as well, Craig, as we go through 2025. Another bit of news, though, out just this week was about the extension of the maturity date of the vendor loan note. So that's from HomeServe, isn't it, originally, the largest shareholder here. You've sort of negotiated, extended the due date and when the first payments start. So how significant was this for you to renegotiate?
I mean, this was I think, if you're a existing shareholder in Ondo, as I am, obviously, really significant news. I mean, the market reaction didn't kind of reflect that on the day, but I was expecting a much bigger reaction from the market, okay. Mark. But far be it from me to predict what the share price is going to do on any given day. But this was really significant. The reason being is this formed part of the consideration when we spun LeakBot out through a reverse takeover transaction out of HomeServe back in 2022. So I used to work at HomeServe. I originally created LeakBot in an innovation lab as part of the HomeServe group. So this loan note was part of that consideration. So the news that we announced this week is we pushed the principal payments back by a year. We pushed the end date on the loan back by a year. We've rolled up and deferred the interest for another year. And this is really helpful to us as a company because we've basically designed that restructure so we can pay off those obligations comfortably from future trading cash flows. Which is really super news because it removes the need for any further working capital fundraising activities, especially because given what we've been talking about, Mark, that all of that, the growth and the expansion is now paid for by our customers through those prepayments. Cool. So that is really significant news. If you're an existing holder, obviously what we don't want to do is keep diluting existing shareholders. So that was really the goal. And the important thing here is not only did I work at HomeServe and know the organization very well, but there was some self-interest here on HomeServe's part because they're our biggest shareholder. So this move was really in the interests of all existing shareholders, and HomeServe remain our biggest shareholder. And that's the shareholding that they have. As we continue to grow, will be worth many, many times more. Sure. I would imagine in the future than that loan note. So there was a good alignment of interest to get this done, and I really appreciate their support.
Good. Well, of course, market dynamics aside, why do you think this is a really good thing for the company? Is it because it sort of alleviates that sort of debt that's sort of hanging over that, it could be a burden on the company? I noticed that you say you want to allocate at least 40% of proceeds from warrant exercise to help with repaying these notes, and then presumably, as you say, repaying the rest through cash flow as that starts to come in the years to come. So what's the big sort of, why is this good? Is it because it takes away that de-risks that sort of debt element that's attached to the company?
Yeah, I think the risk that that obviously many people listening to this show will have with any company, the small cap and micro cap company, if they're pre-profit and they're not generating cash yet in their growth journey, and I'm talking generic terms, not just about our company, the concern is always, is there going to be a placing and am I going to get diluted? And will the share price go into reverse in anticipation of some placing? And so the significance of that news yesterday was really, there was an important statement in that RNS, which was that we anticipate that we'll get to an EBITDA positive position through the second half of next year. And we'll get to that point without any further working capital fundraising activities. So we'll get to that break-even point. And the concern that some investors have is, well, the first repayment of that loan note, how are you going to finance that? Are you going to be able to generate enough cash as a business to pay that first payment? Well, now by restructuring this loan note, it's clear that we will be able to pay off those obligations from our trading revenues.
Okay.
So that's really the significance of that. Any hangover or doubt about that any company like us will sometimes have about, is there going to be a placing? Are they going to need to raise money and have to discount the share price to get it done? We've removed that concern through the announcement this week.
Good. Well, I did notice that. I'm glad you mentioned it there, getting into a net positive cash flow 2025. So that's obviously really good milestone for the company there, changing really the whole dynamic really of a company going from pre-cash to positive cash flow. So you mentioned about results coming, and of course that's when we can start talking about some of the numbers. Of course, it's nice to see the expansion to all these different states here, but it's very difficult to talk without the RNS about the actual hard numbers. So they're coming out, what, in a week or so? Is that right, Craig? And then we can perhaps...
Yeah, results are out next week. We've set up an Investor Meets company webinar for December the 4th. So I encourage shareholders to sign up. They're always really well-attended sessions on Ondo. And we always have literally hundreds of questions at the end of the session. So they're always good fun. So if I encourage people to sign up, and we're looking forward to that. That session next week. Good.
Well, I'll tune in as well, get an idea of how the company's been performing. But for now, Craig, thank you very much. Have we got some more news before Christmas, do we think?
Yeah, well, it's always hard to predict where things land. But what I will say is we've got a really exciting pipeline at the moment. Definitely in the United States. There's so much going on. Really, the feeling in the team is it's almost hard to keep up with the amount of activity that's going on at the moment. But also lots of things brewing in Europe as well. So I'm never going to predict when things will land, and they're never done until they're done. But definitely lots more news to come.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to it. Thank you very much, Craig Foster, the CEO of Ondo InsurTech, for your time today.
Thanks, Mark. Good to see you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.